So again, welcome to Build Your Confidence Like a Boss. I added the like a boss because it just makes everything more fun, and I think that you're really going to enjoy these tips tonight. They're going to help you make changes so that you can build your confidence and achieve those things that you're holding yourself back from because of your current lack of confidence in one or more areas of your life. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so that you guys can see the slides. All right. And Maureen, let me know if you do see that. And I'm going to get started. So again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah Lang, and I wanted to thank you again for taking the time out of your evening to watch this. It is going to be some different tips and tricks, as well as some of my own stories, so that you can learn from my experience and how I was able to build my confidence. Now, I do want to let you know that this is an ongoing process. I didn't suddenly have magical confidence overnight, and I do work on it every day because it really is a process. So I'm here to help you live a healthier and happier life, and I'm excited to have you here tonight. Just a reminder to shut off any distractions that you might have, like other websites, and focus on the information in this presentation. That way you'll be able to take notes, jot down questions for our Q&A at the end, and when this is over, to not just let the information sit, but to take action on it and put it to good use. That's what this is all about. A little bit about me for those of you who don't know me, or some of you may not know my whole story. Currently, I'm 23 years old, and I'm a full-time graduate student studying physical therapy at Damon College. So I'm in my 6th year of the program, and I will be graduating this May. I have had my ups and downs with my health and fitness, which is what actually led me to being a health and fitness coach. A lot of people think you have to be at your goal body, that you have to have all this knowledge on nutrition and workouts, but the company I work for, Beachbody, provides me with all of that, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel, and I just am able to invite others on that journey. And what I've realized is that not only do I see people and myself have physical changes, but these mental changes. So I used to make excuses all the time. I used to have that all or nothing attitude. You know, if I'm not going to go for it 100%, I'm not going to do it at all. And I finally decided that I was sick of starting over, and that my health and my goals in general were worth changing for. So let's get right down to business. How do you build confidence? The first thing you're going to need to do is to identify your goals. As you can see on the left-hand side, there's several factors that, you might have goals. You might have goals for your career, for school, for your family, your friends, and your health. And those all kind of need to be in balance to really feel, like you're have a good balance between each, and just to have a happier life. So think about what you would like to change. Do you feel like you have really good relationship with your family, but you wish you could do better in school? Or is it that you don't balance school well with your social life? You don't really see your friends a whole lot. There are many things. And maybe you're doing okay at something, but you'd like to improve. But really think about this right now, and I want you to kind of keep these goals in mind as we go throughout the presentation, so you can kind of apply the information that I'm giving you. Think about where you're least confident in your abilities. Is it in social situations? Is it in your career or your job? Is it in school? Or is it within your health and fitness? So keep those in mind. I'm going to ask you about those a little bit later. The next huge piece to being able to build your confidence is knowing your why. This is basically reasoning for your goals. So for me, for health and fitness, my why was that I wanted to feel comfortable in my skin. I wanted to be able to go try clothes on in the dressing room and really feel comfortable and feel like I looked good. Through a lot of my life, I've avoided pictures or decided I couldn't wear something because oh, what are other people going to think when they see me wearing this? I probably don't look very good in it. I probably look stupid. So I didn't want that anymore. It was a change in mindset, but it was also, knowing strongly that I wanted to feel a certain way. And you might have different motivations for your career. Maybe you feel really strongly about the path that you're taking and what you want to do with it, or relationships that you have. So knowing your why, it should be deep and emotional. It should maybe even scare you a little bit. If I don't do this, what's going to happen? But if I do this, how many amazing things will happen because of that? So this is what keeps you going when you feel like quitting. Definitely think about your why in relation to those goals you just thought about. You're also going to need to identify your limiting beliefs. In a lot of the personal development that I've done, and I'll be talking more about personal development later on, there's a lot of focus on limiting beliefs. Basically, what these are things you tell yourself in your head. And they're not really true. They're things that you've grown up believing. Like what I was saying before, oh, people will think I look stupid if I wear this. I'm not good enough. I have to please these people. I don't deserve to be loved. Or it really just depends on you and what you've kind of grown up to believe. Here's some examples of limiting beliefs and what they might look like to you. So maybe you'll relate to some of these, and feel free to post in the chat if you think you can relate to any of these, or if you can think of another one that you hear inside your head sometimes. So sometimes people say, I can't tell the truth because I may get judged. I don't want to get close to this person in case my heart gets broken. I don't want to ask for what I want because what if I get rejected? So the link at the bottom of this slide, I actually got these quotes from, and then they kind of gave solutions on how to change your thinking. So instead of thinking that you're not going to do something because you might get judged, think about it this way. It's not your job to please the people in your life. You do what is right for you, and the way that they react is all a reflection of themselves, not you. Another example, not wanting to get your heart broken, is to think that being open is going to be what ends up attracting the right kind of love into your life, and that you'll learn more about yourself by kind of having that open heart. Not asking for what you want because you're afraid of getting rejected. Every no is one step closer to a yes. And it might sound kind of cheesy, but you have to ask in order to receive. And if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. And I think that's huge, because people hold themselves back from opportunities because they're too afraid to ask, when it could really be an amazing thing for them. Maybe it's a promotion at work, or maybe it's asking someone to hang out that someone that they'd love to have in their lives. Don't hold yourself back from that, because if you do, the answer is always no. If you feel that you can't trust people because you've been betrayed before, think about it in terms of meaningful relationships. You really need trust to help form meaningful relationships, and until you're able to trust others, it will be difficult to do so without, everyone's deserving of your trust until, they disprove that. Also, if you're afraid of doing things because you're afraid of failing, think about it this way. Your dreams and your goals are yours for the taking, and it's up to you to take those steps necessary to achieve them. So, not to put it, basically, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you don't do the steps necessary to get to your goals, you won't achieve them. So you have to do X to get to Y. And only you can do that. No one else can do it for you. So identify those limiting beliefs that are holding you back from doing things that are scary to you, but could really make a difference in your life and be really great. The next step, after you've identified your goals and get to know a little bit more about them and what's holding you back, is to make a decision. So say you've always held yourself back from a job promotion or from taking a really difficult class at school that you know would help with your major, or maybe you want to become a health and fitness coach like I am, and you've held yourself back because you've thought it's too hard, I'm not good enough, etc. Make a decision and just say, I am going to do it. I will do it. I can do it, and I will be successful. End of story. I just loved this little picture, and I thought it was a nice representation of, just decide to do it. Kind of like the Nike thing, just do it. So once you decide to do something, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to do it, and then sit back and wait for it to happen. Of course, you have to make a game plan. So you're going to want to take it off your vision board and put it into action. You can do this by breaking it down into baby steps. So of course, if you decide that you're going to make $1 million, it's not just going to fall into your lap. So what you're going to need to do is break it down into steps. So maybe first you need to start your business, then you might need to hire some assistants, then you may need to, market yourself. So just something like that. To make it maybe more relatable to you guys, for school, graduating and getting a career. So your game plan may be getting a certain GPA each semester, making connections with your professors to network and get a possible job after college, maybe doing your research, getting in touch with staffing networks and things like that. And that will get you to your end goal. So if you look at it at the big goal and it scares you, breaking it up into smaller steps will make it a little bit easier for you to digest and then be able to accomplish that. So to relate this all back to confidence, it's basically getting your research done so that you feel like you know what you're doing. Because if you just kind of go in blindly, of course you're not going to have the confidence you need to achieve it because you don't have the knowledge and the information to back yourself up. So the more you know and the more that you dig at what's holding you back and why you want this and what your goals are, the easier it will be to achieve those goals and to be confident about achieving those goals. So I hope that makes sense for you guys so far. Be sure if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat as we go. And once I take the slides down, I'll be able to see that chat box. This is probably one of my favorites, is leaving your comfort zone. So everyone loves their comfort zone because it is a place of familiarity, security, and certainty. If you stay in your comfort zone, you'll probably keep working at the place you're working at. You'll probably be surrounded by the same people. You'll probably be making the same amount of money, and you'll probably feel about the same about everything. But outside your comfort zone is where the magic really happens. That's where you embrace risk and you make changes. And by taking those risks and making those changes, you get that personal growth. You go to the next level. And the people that take the most risk and make the most changes are the ones who get the biggest rewards. So maybe it's that person that goes up to their boss and asks for the promotion that gets it. They get the raise and they get the manager position. Someone gave me an example that they would love to rock an awesome haircut, but they're too nervous to, cut their hair really short or just change their style because they're worried about what other people think. You leave your comfort zone and you get that haircut and you rock it, and you'll probably be surprised at how many people compliment you because they love it and you're being your true self and what you truly want. And that confidence of you doing what you want and not caring about what others think is going to impress people even more than your haircut probably would. So that might be a silly example, but sometimes confidence is about the small things and it's not necessarily getting that big job promotion. Just a reminder, I found this interesting quote that performance when you're stepping outside your comfort zone is improved up to the level of optimal anxiety. So a little bit of healthy stress is good. It helps us grow and it helps us reach new levels in what we want to achieve. However, if you try to achieve something that's just too far out of your reach, it's a little unrealistic right now for you until you take some other steps first, that's too much stress and your performance drops. So it's basically the peak is at optimal anxiety or healthy stress, and it's a little more difficult to achieve things outside your comfort zone when you don't leave your comfort zone or when you go a little bit too far outside your comfort zone. So kind of find your happy medium. Start with something small and work your way toward your goal. Another thing that has been huge for me, and ever since I started coaching, has been a really big part of why I've been able to increase my confidence and my success with the coaching business, is that I always feel surrounded by people who support me. They inspire me every day. They motivate me. They make me happy. We'll all get together sometimes because there's a lot of coaches in the local area, and I just leave feeling energized and vibrant and inspired, and I have all these ideas, and I'm excited to help people live healthy lives and to help people with their health and fitness coaching business, to grow my team and to just find my tribe of awesome people, basically. So these two little quotes just kind of reinstate what I just said. You want to surround yourself with people who have good energy, because that energy that you're feeding off of from the people you surround yourself with is contagious. So if you surround yourself with happy people who make you laugh and support you, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel happy and supported and loved. Whereas if you are friends with a lot of people with negative energy who are very pessimistic, complain a lot, or just kind of have that negative mindset, you'll kind of adapt to that yourself. So just some examples of surrounding yourself with people. On the left-hand side, that's me and my accountability partner, Tori. So as a coach, we pair ourselves up with success partners or accountability partners, and we basically support each other in our health and fitness goals as well as our business goals. And they're really great people to bounce ideas off each other. And we also kind of get together, since we live locally, and it's just really nice to have that support system. Top right, that's an event that I went to called Super Saturday with our coaches. So all the coaches in the local area get together. We do some training from corporate as well as get to try out new workouts. This was this summer when Size came out, and we all got to try Shaun T's brand new dance workout, which was a blast. I think there were probably 200, 250 people all together, and it was just so fun all dancing together and being pretty goofy. And at the bottom right, Damon Fit Club is something I started back in April. And Damon College is where I go to school. And once a week, I bring a workout in on DVD or I stream it on Beachbody On Demand. And we all work out together. And I love this because if you have health and fitness goals, it is amazing to, go to a group exercise class or to have an accountability partner. Even if you're not together in person, you can check in with each other and see if you got your workout in. You can talk to each other about what you're struggling with and what you're succeeding with. And to kind of wrap up the success partner, accountability partner type thing, I also have an online group that's private. It's right here on Facebook. And if you guys want to be surrounded by other people who have big goals, want to live healthier and happier lives, definitely write in the chat box and I'll get you in that group. And I'd love to have you there. Maybe at school or at home or at work, you're not surrounded by a lot of people that inspire you or motivate you or even make you happy. You really want to be surrounded by people who want to lift you up rather than bring you down. So definitely let me know if you want in on that group, and I'd love to get you in there. I'd be curious to see who you guys surround yourselves with. So think about these couple things. Do these people make you laugh? Do they help you when you're in need? Think about the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Do they support you? Do they make you feel like you have what it takes to reach your goals? Are they instilling confidence within you, even when you don't have confidence in yourself? And do you feel energized after spending time with them? Like attracts like, so send out positive vibes into the world and let negativity go. You may have people in your life that you need to forgive because you're holding on to negativity and negative feelings toward them. Sometimes people you just need to bless and release, and then you're better for it. So to move on to personal development, you'll see my favorite book up there again, You Are a Badass. On the left-hand side, this is one of my new favorite things since I got a smartphone. Not sure what it is for Android, but I know on the iPhone it's a podcast app. And what I do is I subscribe to some of my favorite entrepreneurs. So the Your Kick-Ass Life podcast is by Andrea Owen. Every week on Wednesdays, she posts new podcasts about things like, tackling your inner critic, that voice in your mind that tells you can't do things. She talks a lot about confidence as well, being ashamed of things in your past, allowing yourself to love yourself and things like that. And what I also love is that Shaun T also has a podcast, and he talks about different things like that as well. So he's not just all about fitness. He also has personal development podcasts. And I also do listen weekly. Our Beachbody coaches, they pick a different coach, a top coach in the company each week to represent and get on the call Monday morning and basically do an inspirational podcast. And they tell us tips and tricks on how they were successful. And it's just one other tool that really makes it easier to be a coach and gives me ideas on how to help others better. Besides the book You Are a Badass, which is the one I'm giving away to one lucky person tonight, The Magic of Thinking Big is another great book. It's basically Achieve Everything You've Always Wanted, Acquire the Secrets to Success, and it's by David J. Schwartz. There are so many books out there, so depending on what you have difficulty with, whether it's, confidence or organization, time management, there's so much personal development out there. You could listen to it forever and never get through it all. So feel free to put in the chat what you seem to struggle with the most, or feel free to message me privately after, and I'd be happy to hook you up with some personal development that would be the best for your needs. Another big thing is to get your mindset right. Both personal development and getting your mindset right are going to help you identify your strengths and weaknesses, play to your strengths, and you work on your weaknesses. Getting your mindset right is also going to let you start recognizing negative thought patterns and those limiting beliefs that you are telling yourself, and they're going to help you to drop those excuses so that you can achieve what you want to. And a lot of limiting beliefs for people are not having enough time, not having enough money, having too many other commitments, or those ones I mentioned before about feeling like people are going to judge you or that you're going to fail. Thinking those things in your head, a little trick you could do is to start writing down the things you're noticing yourself thinking about, and then dig a little deeper as to why you think you're thinking those things. And you can actually reverse those things say, a really simple one would be thinking you're not good enough, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not skinny enough. Write those things down, cross them out, and then write the opposite. So I am good enough. I am pretty enough. I'm beautiful. My body is just the way it should be. And using those as daily affirmations. One I have on my wall right now is commitment is an act, not a word, which is a quote I really like. And there's also another quote that I wrote down: to not have negativity or self-doubt, only total and absolute belief in your desired outcome. So knowing your vision, knowing your goals, and knowing what you want to achieve, and not thinking negatively, like, I can't do it, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, and not doubting myself, and just being in total and absolute belief that I will achieve that. So, like I said, I put sticky notes on my wall, I read personal development daily, I think about my goals, I have them written down where I can see them every day. So be mindful of your thoughts. Keep in mind your why you want to do your achieve your goals, have your goals right there, and just be constantly reminding yourself about why you want to do what you want to do. Now, all of this to some people might sound a little hippy-dippy, getting your mindset right and personal development. A lot of people think that self-help is kind of lame, but don't believe that stigma, because it really can make a huge difference in your life, and you'll never know until you give it a try. So, in just a moment, I'm going to go into the Q&A, but I just wanted to let you guys know that if you want more support, you can feel free to email me. We're going to chat in a second in the chat box, and I can answer some questions. I do have a like page for my health and fitness on coaching on Facebook. And again, feel free to ask me about getting into that free online support group. So I'm just going to go to the chat. I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. And okay, there's a couple of things in the chat. Maureen says she loves Shanti. Does anyone else out there listen to the podcast app or read any personal development books? I'm curious. Feel free to write that in the chat. While you guys put your questions in there, I'm just going to show you another slide or two, actually. So I just wanted to remind you guys to watch for my email after this. I'm going to be uploading the recording of this webinar to YouTube, and I'll be sending it out to everyone. I'm also going to be announcing the winner of the book, You Are a Badass. The copy I showed you earlier is my personal mangled edition with all my notes and stickies and underlining. But I'll be sending you a nice brand new one that you can mark up yourself if you'd like, or if you like to keep your books nice and neat. And also, I'm going to be sending you all some questions in an email. Similar to what we've talked about tonight, they're going to be questions that will lead you to action steps. I want you to share those with me, the answers to your questions and where you want to go moving forward and how I can help you. Or if you just want to answer those questions and keep them to yourself, that's fine too. If it's too personal, you're not ready to share, maybe when you feel comfortable, you'll reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you take that next step. This is just another cheesy quote. I love just quotes and motivational images. The best view comes after the hardest climb. So building your confidence is going to be really hard. It's going to be messy. We have to accept parts of ourselves that we might not like. We might have to try some things and mess up a few times before we succeed. But just kind of finding the beauty in the struggle and learning to keep going, remembering your why so that you don't give up when you feel like you want to, then it's all worth it. So I'm going to check the chat again. I just wanted to thank you guys again for being on live tonight. Really enjoyed chatting with you about this topic. Confidence has made a huge difference in my life. Becoming a coach was a huge part of that because I never really had an outlet for that before. I've always wanted to help other people and just kind of lack the confidence, always wondering, would people really want to listen to me? Do they think what I have to say is valuable? And just kind of really struggling with that myself. Basically, just think about catching those negative thoughts in your head and just kind of squashing them. And knowing that if you really want to achieve something and that, it's a possibility for you. And if anyone is interested in learning more about the health and fitness coaching that I do, I'd love to share more information. I've done other webinars on that specifically, and I would be happy to give you the information on that. I've really enjoyed reaching out to people through webinars. And I don't think I've mentioned this earlier in the evening, but getting on a webinar and running one and talking to people is actually a big step out of my comfort zone. And so everyone kind of has those things that are difficult for them to do. And it's almost just like doing them over and over is what makes it easier. All right, I've got a couple of things in the chat. Thanks for getting on, Bethany. I'm glad you were able to figure it out. Jess says, I would love to avoid negative people, but most of the negativity in my life comes from coworkers whom I can't avoid. Do you have any tips on how to sort of block that out mentally? Yeah, I think that distancing yourself a little bit from those people, I know it can be difficult if you're around that person all the time. I have people in my life that I go to school with, not really any of my friends, they're all great people, but there's some people that I see on a daily basis that bring negativity into my life, and basically just reminding myself that that's them and I can be the one to choose positivity is going to make a big difference. It looks like Patricia has the same situation with work and the people she lives with. So it can be tough that, people are around you all the time that want to bring you down. And you're going to see that in the work environment. You're going to see that in the, maybe at home, at school. Basically, there's always going to be people who are kind of Debbie Downers or negative Nancys. And they're unhappy with some things in their lives that make them lash out or that make them become a negative person. And sadly, the only person that can really change that is them. You're not going to be able to change them. However, you can be kind of a really good example of staying positive and being loving and acting out of a place of love instead of a place of fear. I know there's one podcast I listened to by Andrea Owen, who does the Your Kick-Ass Life podcast, and she talked about how everything we do either comes from a reaction out of love or a reaction out of fear. So kind of being nasty to other people, drawing away from other people, and those kind of negative responses are from out of fear. Whereas out of love, that's where the positivity comes from and the encouragement, lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. So just keeping that in mind, and honestly, if you can remove yourself from the situation, do it. And if you have to distance yourself from those people and only interact with them on a professional work basis, don't let them suck you into their personal life. Don't let them, suck you into drama. Just try and basically distance yourself as much as you can. And then someday find a job that you truly enjoy, that you're surrounded by people who support you and lift you up. Let's see. Emily agrees too. She says her coworkers can be very judgmental. Patricia asks, do you have any recommendations for a social media break? I've been wanting to do one for a while because there's so much negativity that I see every day, but that's where a lot of communication happens. I have about 3 minutes left, so if anyone else wants to throw a question in the chat, I'll answer this one first. So what I would recommend is, unfriending people on Facebook or other social media can sometimes cause more drama than it's worth. But what I found really useful is to actually, if you see a person post and they're posting a lot of negativity or just things that really rub you the wrong way, if you go to the top right corner of their post, I'll actually just show you really quick. We only have about 2 minutes, but if I go to Facebook, sorry. If I go to Facebook, do you guys see my Facebook? Okay, great. So say this is my sister, so I wouldn't hide her post or anything, but right here, there's this little arrow in the top right corner. You can click on it, and of course it's gonna be slow, and you can either do hide post or unfollow Laura. So either of those, you can stay friends with the person and they're not gonna know that you hid it from your timeline or anything like that, but you'll see less and less of the negativity if that person posts a lot of negative posts. So you basically just kind of, you stay friends with them, but you distance yourself and you kind of reduce how much negativity you're seeing daily. So I hope that really helps. Less than a minute to go. I just wanted to thank you guys all for coming on tonight. I know we all have busy schedules, so thank you for taking the time to do that. And you can look forward to the recording, and I will be announcing the winner of the book in the same recording as the email. Thanks.